You're listening to the Never Heard of It podcast,
a Night Shift Radio original. Every week we bring you the good,
the bad,
the weird,
and lesser known streaming movies.
Hit subscribe for new episodes every Thursday and Sunday. So we're back again with another bonus episode. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, look, Juniper's back here again. So she's joining me again for the second time this month, and we're going to do it one more time. But for the second time this month, she has joined us because Sabrina is off moving. So Juniper is filling in for our bonus episode. So for everyone over on YouTube, say hi, wave hi to everyone over on YouTube. And for those of you listening on your podcast player of choice, you can hear her voice. So you can just say hello.
Hello.
And hey, while you're watching, while you're listening, make sure to hit subscribe. We have brand new episodes every Thursday and Sunday. Thursday, our episodes come out on both YouTube and podcast, and Sunday is our full movie review episode. So this coming Sunday, we're actually talking about the movie Melancholia. Juniper's not going to be there for that one. Not appropriate for a kid. But Melancholia we're continuing on with our Chill Vibes Apocalypse Month. So Melancholia is going to be the episode we were talking about. That one we had to rent. So if you're the type of person that watches movies before we review them, rent Melancholia. I guess you can find it on some of those channels and stuff like that. So that's where you can find it and watch it. But other than that, we're here to talk about something else. So the big thing that we are talking about this week is actually a show that ended a little over a month ago that's been running on Disney for the past couple of years, and that is the show The Owl House. Now, Juniper, this is one of your favorite shows, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. What drew you to this show initially? Like, what made you want to start watching it?
I remember hearing about it from my friends, and I remember seeing it on Disney, and I was like, this seems like a really fun and cute show.
Yeah, I think it is a very cute show. So the creator of this one was also on shows like Gravity Falls and all those sort of like Cartoon Network type shows or Disney Channel shows. Was Gravity Falls on Cartoon Network or was that Disney? I guess it was Disney.
It's Disney.
Yeah, it would have to be Disney because it was on Disney Plus. Yeah, so the entire series is streaming on Disney Plus now in America. So if you want to catch up on the show or watch it for the first time, that is where you can watch it. Obviously, this show was originally designed for like 12 and up, but it's I really enjoyed watching it. You know, there were a few tear up moments for me, especially the very last episode. I think there's some really cool messages in that one, and it's just sort of fun. You know, it's pretty good. So, what is the general plot of Owl House? Like, what is the Owl House about?
The general plot of Owl House is the main character, Luz, a human, wanders upon this door to go into this different dimension where witches and wizards are basically all real. And she goes and finds the owl lady, Ida.
Who is played by Wendy Malick, by the way. So for those of you who are familiar with that actress, she was in the shows like Just Shoot Me. She was in the Scrooged movie with Bill Murray. Go on.
She ends up living with her, going on magical adventures.
Now, why do they call it the Owl House?
They call it the Owl House because Ida got cursed when she was young, so basically she can turn into a bird. And her house is kind of shaped like an owl in a way, and has a little owl in the door that can like extend and be like long, and his name is Hootie.
Hootie the Owl. Now, Hootie the Owl is actually voiced by the creator of the show, so that's a fun little fact.
Mm-hmm. And he's like really silly and stuff. And throughout the show, we see him kind of get more mature, but also make jokes all along the way.
As you do. Now, who are the type of characters that Luz meets? Now, Luz is how old? How old is Luz in the show? Like, what do you think?
I think she was like 13, 14.
So she's like 13, 14, and she wanders into this world. And then what are the type of people that she befriends or makes enemies of in this world?
So in this world, first, she meets Ida. Then she meets this girl named Willow. Then she introduced her to someone else. I forgot his name. That's
He's the one that does the illusions,
Yeah,
right?
he does like illusion stuff. Then she meets this girl named Amity. But the thing is, Amity isn't really a friend at first.
She's a frenemy.
Yeah.
Now, these are all kids her age, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm asking like I don't know. I know. I watched the show with her. So yeah. So they all go to like a magic school,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting for it. So it's like you see the parallels between Luz's school and their school, but because they're in the magic world, there's a lot of elements of like the Harry Potter part of this,
Yeah.
where like they're like, what do you mean humans don't do insert weird magical thing to do insert normal human thing? So there is that sort of like thing. Now, there's not humans in this world either, right?
Yeah, there isn't.
So her being here is kind of like a weird thing. Yeah, so like there's no humans. So or at least that we know of, right?
Yeah, that we know
Right,
of.
that's so there's no humans that we know of. Everything is like this. So she gets into this magic world and of course she befriends all these people and they eventually accept her. Now, but the big thing is that Luz can't do magic. So she kind of struggles fitting in because she can't do magic like all the other people. But how does she get around that?
She gets around that by using this thing she finds in the different elements she wants to use for magic called glyphs.
Yeah.
So there's a light glyph. That's the first glyph she ever finds. And she draws it on paper. And basically when you like hit it or like add pressure, a little ball of light pops up. Instead of like using the magic, the paper like crumbles in and folds into a ball, then shoots up, then becomes like a light. And then next she finds ice, where same thing, you hit it on the ground, then it becomes a huge ice like thing. Then she finds like earth,
Yeah, I mean, she gets through all of them, all the little elements, and that's cool that she's able to control them. Except for illusion, right. And now, the big thing about this series, which why a lot of people like it and why it's considered high acclaim, is because there's some special relationships in this show. So very specifically, and this is one that, is very interesting because it was on Disney, but Luz herself she ends up in a relationship with another girl throughout the series. What was the girl's name again? Amity. Yeah, so they start off as enemies, and then they end up being in a relationship together. And there's a lot of different dynamics like that. Like we have, Luz is separated from her mom. And, there's the idea of like her wanting to go back, but also kind of not really wanting to go back because she's in such a magical land. And then there's the whole idea of like, Ida is separated because she was cursed. She was separated from the rest of her family. And it becomes a big deal because, they kind of shunned her a little bit because she didn't fall in line with what they wanted. So we have the whole idea of like family expectations. And this is true from some of the other characters as well. So just the dynamics in the relationships that we see throughout this series were pretty amazing. What are some standout moments for you? Like, what are some standout episodes?
When we meet Amity's two siblings and they kind of embarrass her. Like that really stood out for me because it kind of feels like they're talking about how like siblings aren't always the nicest to you, especially around other people. To be like,
see, I'm an only child, so I have no idea what other siblings are like. But you were not an only child.
Yeah.
You're my only child.
Yeah.
But you were not an only child. You have many siblings over at your mom's house.
Yeah.
So you know what that was like. So that felt personal to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. See, I was just like, I don't know, maybe brothers and sisters are mean. I have no idea. Or maybe they're cool. I'll never know. I'm too old.
They're both.
Yeah, they can be. What else? So what is it about Amity and Luz's relationship that you really liked? Outside of just them dating too.
Yeah. I really liked how we got to see how you're not always friends with someone at first, that you kind of have to progress and like go through differences in a
Yeah.
way, you know?
In a way, yeah, you kind of got to work when you meet somebody at first. You got to kind of work through relationships and figure each other out, right? Like that's sometimes the fun of meeting someone for the first time is sort of like figuring each other out and figuring out how you guys fit together, or if you do even at all, because sometimes you're not going to, and that's okay too. I think people forget that it's okay to not fit with someone sometimes. You just be like, hey, we just don't jive together, and that's okay. But we're still going to be nice to each other because it's the right thing to do. Exactly. Now, so the show ran for 3 seasons that I remember, 3 seasons.
Yeah, fair.
And then the last couple of episodes just aired this past April, so very recently. And big emotional episodes. So I don't want to entirely spoil what happens in the final episode. But if you listened last week to our Guardians of the Galaxy 3 review, kind of similar vibes. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of similarities between what happens in that episode of the last episode of the show and to how Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 turned out. So I think that was really interesting. That was a fun little parallel. But yeah, so like, how did the last episode make you feel? With no spoilers.
Yeah. I got pretty emotional at like kind of like the middle of the end section, and really emotional at the beginning, and the middle it was kind of like fun and happy. But I cried a lot.
I can vouch. Yes, there was a lot of tears to be had about this show. The Owl House. Now, so what would be your recommendation? Like, if you recommend other shows. So if you liked this show, you would love The Owl House. Like, what shows would you compare it to?
If you like Gravity Falls, I think you would like The Owl House because it's the same sort of like magic meets reality, but instead reality meets magic, you know?
A little less silly than Gravity Falls, though.
Yeah.
A lot less silly than Gravity Falls.
If you like Amphibia, same exact thing, just a magic world instead of like a frogland.
Yeah. And I would say, you know, even like a show like Steven Universe, like if you liked Steven Universe, it has a lot of the same vibe. There's a little bit of magical adventure to it, but there's that same sort of like heart to the show. Because that's the big thing that I think Owl House has over a show like Gravity Falls, you know, or something like that, is that there's more heart to it. It's more of like a there's a journey of emotion in that story, more like, you know, kind of Adventure Time-esque.
And Amphibia is pretty like that.
Yeah, Amphibia is pretty like that. Yeah, absolutely. So there's just some other shows that are very similar. So that's pretty exciting. Now, you recently re-binged all of Steven Universe.
Yes, I have.
And that was a big one. You highly recommend that show, I assume.
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
Is there any other shows you would recommend somebody start watching? What's your favorite right now?
Steven Universe.
Steven Universe. Yeah, it's a big question. Which is streaming on HBO Max?
Yeah,
HBO Max has all of Steven Universe.
All the movies and Steven Universe feature.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, she just ran through all of that. Non-stop, by the way, all of those episodes.
Yeah.
I had to watch them all over again, which is fine. I love Steven Universe. The music's really good. It is a cute story. But back to back, it was rough. What are you going to binge next, do you think?
I don't know. I'm just working on The Good Place right now.
Yes, we're back on The Good Place for our 4th time through. 5th time through, because it's one of our favorite shows.
Yes.
So there it is. Hey, what are you watching, that's in that sort of Y7 range of rating shows? Like what animated show are you currently watching that we should check out that we haven't mentioned on this episode? We'd love to hear from you. You can hit us up on Night Shift MG on both Twitter and Instagram, or you can head over to nightshiftradio.com and send us a contact form and let us know the shows that you're listening to. We'd love to hear it. You know, of course, you hit subscribe, so you're going to know when new episodes come out of this episode of this show. So Juniper, thanks for joining us again.
You're welcome.
This episode, and you got one more left. Are you excited?
Yes.
So as of right now, the plan is to have her watch Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time. Because during Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, she saw a trailer for Dial of Destiny, the fifth Indiana Jones film, and she was like, "This looks really cool." And I was like, "Well, this is actually the fifth in a series of movies." And she was like, "Well, I want to watch that." So we're gonna watch Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be pretty exciting. So next week you'll get to listen to us talk about that or watch over on YouTube. So again, like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. All the things. Share with a friend. Thanks a lot for joining us. Juniper, thanks again.
Welcome.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.